That was Gabby, the night watchman of Lilliput Kingdom, where all of the people were no bigger than your thumb. Gabby was making his final round through the night, poking his funny old lantern here, then there, and singing his watchman song.
All's well, what's a rainy day? Never mind that cloud, behind that cloud you'll find a golden ray. All's well, laugh your fears away. See the light ahead, right ahead. There's a moonlit night ahead. Everyone, come on, have fun. All's well. Why do they make me sing that song? The poet who wrote it was certainly wrong. It's right ahead, go right ahead. I'd rather go home and go right to bed. All's well. What have I got to laugh about? It's a terrible night for a man to be out. The rain has ruined my favorite coat. Instead of a horse, I could use a boat. All's well. Oh, my feet are wet, my bunions ache, and yet I've got to keep wide awake all night, all night. I wake folks up to tell them things are all right. All's well, laugh your fears away. See the light ahead, right ahead. There's a moonlit night ahead. Everyone, come on, have fun. All's well.
All's well.
Poor Gabby. He was so busy singing that he stumbled and fell. But he picked himself up and began looking around to see what had tripped him. And he did see something. What he saw looked like a great big thumb.
1, 2, 3, 5 fingers. It's a giant hand.
And Gabby started to run like an express train. Reaching a small hill, he looked back, and there he saw an enormous man asleep on the beach.
Giant! Help!
And off he raced to tell the king. As Gabby approached the palace gates, he ran into a big crowd.
What's happening?
It's a giant on the beach!
But he was stopped by the palace guards.
Halt. Shh. And double shh. King Little is busy signing the wedding contract of our Princess Glory and Prince David of Blefuscu.
But there's a giant!
Oh, a giant! Oh, it's terrible, I'm scared.
Quiet.
Gabby could not make anyone listen, but he simply had to see the king, so he said to himself,
I'll just sneak in when they're not looking.
And he just made it. When the guards started after him, Gabby made a wild dash for the throne room. When Gabby sneaked into King Little's throne room, he saw a tiny prince and princess and their fathers making very elaborate plans for the coming wedding. Gabby hollered,
The giant, Your Majesty!
But the two little kings were too busy owing and eyeing over the wedding flowers, the cake, and the ring. And just then, the happy princess began to sing.
Faithful, remember that whatever I do, I'm always faithful, my love. Faithful with all my soul, and thankful for you. You came from heaven above. We'll dance through life together. Our world will seem divine. I'll be faithful as I promised to be. And you'll be mine, oh mine.
Lovely song.
Yes, Bombo, that's our wedding song.
What? We must have forever.
Oh, but Bombo.
Forever!
Faithful.
Forever!
Faithful.
It's war!
Now, Gabby was still trying to get King Little to listen.
I found him a man mountain, Your Majesty.
But the king was busy with a war, and he didn't hear Gabby. Besides, the prince began to sing the song of Blefuscu.
Forever, forever, there won't be anyone but you. Remember, I'm my sweet. Forever, forever, you'll share in everything I do and keep smiling through, my sweet. I'll have just you here in my heart, and I'll trust you though we're apart. So forever, forever, my guiding angel you will be. So always have faith in me.
Finally, Gabby shouted as loudly as he could,
The giant on the beach!
A giant? Where? Why doesn't somebody tell me these things? Well, go and get him.
so Gabby made a dash for the bell tower.
Giant on the beach! Sleeping on the beach! Giant!
Giant on the beach!
Where?
Giant asleep on the beach.
Hurry, hurry!
A
To
giant.
the beach! Oh, yeah! You're here! To the beach!
The little people of Lilliput lost no time in getting to the beach with ropes and tackle and wagons and things. It was dark, and at first they couldn't find the giant.
Where is he?
Where is your giant, Gabby?
I don't see him, Eddie.
But they soon discovered that the hill they thought they were standing on was the giant's chest, and his heart was beating like thunder.
Oh,
We're standing on the giant.
Help! Run for your lives!
Then Gabby had to take charge of the situation.
Yo, wake him up. Get to work, all of you. Tie him up.
So they tied up the giant and loaded him onto several wagons. Then Gabby raised his arm.
On to the palace. Giddy up. Let's go.
Hurry up. Hurry.
it's heavy.
And a long line of tiny people pushed and pulled the huge man up to the palace gate. Gabby called out to the guards.
Tell the king the giant is here.
Here comes the king.
Well, where is the giant?
From here on, your majesty.
Gabby pointed at the giant's feet and waved his arm out toward the edge of town where the giant's head was.
Look.
The giant's awake!
Oh, my.
And sure enough, he was awake. He leaned on one elbow and picked Gabby up in his big hand.
Help, let me go. Help.
Why, you're a little man. A tiny little man.
Let me go, please.
And then Gulliver saw King Little and said, "Come now, King. Don't let my size frighten you. I'm just a sailor whose ship is wrecked, and my name is Gulliver."
Hooray!
Friendly.
The giant's on our side!
Hooray for Gulliver!
It's a happy day. Toodaloo-loo-loo-loo-lay. For you and me, for us and we, all the clouds have rolled away. It's a happy day. Toodaloo-loo-loo-loo-lay. The sun shines bright and the world's all right. It's a happy day. 420 sunbeams are dancing round my face. 420 more are dancing the earth with flames. It's a happy day. Toodaloo-loo-loo-loo-lay. You can't go wrong if you sing a song. It's a happy day.
The little Lilliputians were so happy because Gulliver was friendly that they got right to work and made him a pretty new suit. With tremendous shears and needles a block long, they cut and sewed miles of cloth. Gabby was directing the work,
Heave, heave, up with that sleeve.
and King Little was having the time of his life. Finally, the suit was finished, and Gulliver said, "Thank you, dear little people." Then everyone dressed up and went to a big banquet. Toward the end of the meal, the little people sang a very silly song for Gulliver, with King Little doing the sillier in-betweens.
There are bluebirds in the moonlight,
Silly idea. Bluebirds in the moonlight?
Well, that's how I feel when I'm with you. There are night owls in the daylight.
Silly idea. Night owls in the daylight?
Or maybe my heart is saying, who is the one for me? You, that's what you've done to me. There are bluebirds in the moonlight.
Silly idea. Bluebirds in the moonlight?
But that's how I feel when I'm with you. You is the one for me. You, that's what you've done to me. There are bluebirds in the moonlight.
Silly idea. Bluebirds in the moonlight?
But that's how I feel when I'm with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, dear little people. Now, while everyone had been singing, something shady was going on outside. King Bombo's spies had stolen Gulliver's gun and were hiding it until the battle began. Gulliver went out for a walk after the banquet. Suddenly he heard something.
Help! Oh, help!
Oh, David, poor David.
Gulliver raced to the palace garden and there just barely rescued the prince from the palace guards who were arresting him.
What seems to be the trouble here?
Gabby stepped up and explained.
Prince David was singing forever to the princess, and that song is the song of our enemy. We're at war.
War? War over a song? Oh.
Then Gulliver picked up the princess from her balcony and said,
Now, Princess Glory, what is your song?
Faithful, sir.
Mm-hmm. And yours, Prince David?
Forever, sir.
Wait, I have an idea.
Gulliver stood there holding the prince and princess in his hand far above the heads of the palace guards. And then he said,
War over a song? Two hearts in a marriage broken by a melody? Oh, now wait. Why not sing Faithful and Forever together as one song?
Oh, do you think we could?
Why, yes. David, you and Glory try singing in harmony. A line from Faithful, Glory.
Faithful.
Now, David.
Forever.
Now together.
Whatever I do, remember I'm true. Remember that.
Now, Glory.
Faithful.
All right, David.
Forever.
Together now.
And thankful for you, I'll keep smiling through. Remember that we may be apart now and then, but I'll hold you in my heart till you're in my arms again. Faithful forever, I promise to be. Always have faith in me.
While Gulliver was teaching Glory and David to sing their songs together, Gabby was busy with the war. He had just caught the enemy's messenger pigeon, and this was the message that Bombo intended for his spies. Gabby seized it and read.
I will attack at dawn, signed Bombo. Oh, this is terrible, terrible. Gulliver, come quick.
Gabby raced to the palace gates.
Bombo's attacking at dawn. Bombo's attacking.
What's that?
Bombo's attacking. To the beach. Gulliver, where are you?
Gulliver heard the hubbub and said to Glory and David,
You stay here. I must stop them.
but by the time Gulliver arrived at the palace, the Lilliputian army had begun to march to the beach.
Gulliver, where you been, you lummox? Get marching to the beach.
Gulliver could only say,
Aye, aye, sir.
and off the army and Gulliver marched, singing their song of war.
We're all together now, ready to do, ready to get. What do we get? We're all together now, What do we care? What do we care? There's a war
was on between King Bombo and King Little, and the fighting was getting very heavy. Gulliver advanced into the water and grabbed the anchor chains of Bombo's ships.
Hold on there. We can settle this peacefully. Listen.
But they didn't listen and kept right on fighting. In the meantime, the prince and princess watched the terrible battle from a high hill. Suddenly, Glory saw Bombo's 3 spies with Gulliver's gun.
David, look! Gulliver's thunder gun.
Wait here, Glory. I must stop them.
And off he rode at a gallop.
Oh, David, David!
Just as the 3 spies pulled the trigger, David leaped from his horse and fell against the gun.
Curses. The shot went crooked.
The shot just missed Gulliver by inches, and he dropped Bombo's ships and rushed to the side of the little prince who had saved his life.
Poor foolish little people. Look what you've done.
Then he picked up the prince and princess and said to the unhappy armies,
Perhaps you'll listen to your songs as they might be sung. All right, Glory, David.
Faithful forever,
Whatever I do, remember I'm true.
Remember that.
faithful
Forever
and thankful for you. I'll keep smiling through.
Remember that.
We may be apart now and then, but I'll hold you in my heart till you're in my arms again. Faithful,
forever.
I promise to be.
So always have faith in me.
The last line was sung by Gabby, who had been tied up by the spies all during the fighting. Well, everyone was happy again, and the 2 kings couldn't be nice enough to one another. But even such happy times have to end, and Gulliver felt that he must be leaving. The little people worked very hard building him a big ship, and finally the day came for Gulliver to go. The 2 little kings sobbed.
Boo-hoo. Oh, dear.
Ooh.
And the princess called,
Come back again, Gulliver.
Whenever you can.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
I hear a dream all day, a dream that calls to me.
Come home again, you sailor man, home again to the sea.
I hear a dream all day, a dream that calls to me.
Come home again, you sailor man, home again.
and the Lilliputians watched their beloved Gulliver sail slowly out to sea.